You've probably heard of the 50-20-30 rule. At its core, it's pretty simple to summarize, and there are hundreds of articles, YouTube videos, and even TikToks that explain the fundamentals of the approach. So in today's video, I wanted to take a more in-depth look at this rule, looking at its origins and how you can actually start implementing it today to manage your money. A lot of people think that if something is working in the present, then why change it? If that was the case, then all you'd need to have a successful business and get rich would be time. But that doesn't explain why so many businesses fail. Take the story of Kodak. They dominated the photographic film market during most of the 20th century. Yet, their misjudgment of the future of photography led them to file for bankruptcy in 2012. They didn't foresee the future of digital photography and held on to film photography until it nearly ruined them. Ironically, they actually invented the first digital camera back in 1975, and their management's reaction was, "That's cute, but don't tell anyone about it." One of many examples of companies that were at one point doing really well, but they didn't account for the future. They were relying on things not changing and were stuck in the present, and because of that, their futures don't look so great now. Same thing can happen with your personal finances. You can't count on the good old-fashioned belief of go to school, get a good job, work hard, don't go crazy with spending, and everything will be fine. Not anymore. If you're not planning for the future when you're managing your money and just focusing on getting by in the present, it's going to be tough to build up that generational wealth that I know you can have. Elizabeth Warren and her daughter Amelia coined the 50-20-30 budget rule in their book, All Your Worth, The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. They popularized the rule to help individuals cover all their bills and expenses without the anxiety of, how will I make it through this month? And the best part is, it's super easy to start implementing with just 3 steps. Step 1, they call it counting all your worth. This first step is all about balance. You've heard of balanced diets? Money follows the same general idea. There's a reason why one person can manage just fine on $40,000 a year, while another person struggles on $140,000 a year. And it's not because the second person is just gambling their fortune away in Vegas every weekend. It's because they haven't found this right balance. When you balance your budget correctly, you'll find that it's a lot easier to pay all of your bills while also still having enough to save and put towards your future. To do this, you need to separate your spendings into 3 categories. Your must-haves, the things you need. Your savings, the money you save or put towards debt. And your wants, the stuff that's just for fun. It's actually even simpler than a diet because there are only 3 categories. When you get your money balanced, your financial worries start to fade away because you have control over it. You know what's coming in, you know how it's being used, and you have these specific percentages that you know you're going to allocate towards your wants and your needs and your savings. Let's take a look at the must-haves. These are your basic bills like mortgage or rent, car and phone bills, and health insurance. Back in our grandparents' days, it feels like it was probably easier to live comfortably paying all your basic bills without breaking the bank. The mortgage was cheap, student loans were low or non-existent, and no one had credit cards. These days, life is different, and paying all those basic bills can feel like a daunting experience each and every month. I know for me, graduating from school with over $200,000 of student loans, it felt daunting thinking that I had to pay each and every one of those dollars back. Elizabeth Warren and her daughter suggest asking yourself these statements. And if you say true more than once, you need to examine your must-haves. I worry about having enough money to cover my regular bills. The majority of my money goes on uncontrollable payments like rent or car. After paying the bills, I've got hardly any money left. I buy within my means, yet have no savings. Now the same applies to the wants. Do you answer true to any of these statements? When I go shopping, I'm not sure what I can afford. I don't know where my money goes. I work hard and buy what I deserve. I buy things I couldn't really afford. In the old days, people had to wait to buy things. We didn't have Visa, MasterCard, sky's the limit credit cards. You had to wait for the money to come in before you could pay for something. It was easy to live comfortably because there was no looming debt. We've all heard the saying, it's not how much you make, it's how much you key. Yet, even though we all know the importance of saving, most of us struggle to save even basic amounts. Now for the self-test again. Do you answer true to any of these statements? I work hard yet struggle to save. I carry a balance on my credit cards most months. I worry about retirement. I have to pay for major purchases in installments. I need to take out credit for small emergencies, dentist, car trouble, minor hospital visits. If you said true for any of the ones I just said, you're probably finding it hard to save. You might have tried using willpower and cutting back on the basics, but no matter what you do, you still can't save. So what's this magic solution that Elizabeth Warren and her daughter proposed? Their formula is the 50-20-30 rule. Take your net income, meaning the money that hits your bank account after taxes, and then you're going to divide that up into 3 categories. Must-haves and needs account for 50%, savings, and that includes money that you'll use to pay down debt, your retirement fund, and your emergency fund should be 20%, and wants like travel, eating out, shopping, they say should be 30%. That is what they call their perfectly balanced formula. Now that's all great, but how do I actually balance all of these? Well, that's where step 2 comes in. Before you can actually implement the 50-20-30 rule, you need to escape from thinking traps. Now, I'm not a self-development coach, I'm just some lawyer with a YouTube channel, so I'm not going to go too much into detail with this, but in their book, they outline how you can reverse engineer your negative thought patterns about money. They talk about how to stop playing the blame game and pointing your finger at everything under the sun. The economy, I have kids, I'm single, I'm old, I'm young. Once you stop pointing fingers, it becomes easier to think logically about your income and how you can apply this rule to your life. So go through all of your expenses and look at your income. What are your must-haves, your wants, and how can you shift them to allow you to save? Sure, in the beginning, you may have to start with 55, 30, 15. But isn't that much better than 0 wants or savings at all? If you start smaller, you can incrementally build it up until you reach the final goal. And the final step is to count your dollars, not the pennies. Sure, you can buy in bulk, skim off a few pennies here and there, but is that really helping you at all? What you need to do to actually tackle this is to shave off a few dinosaur expenses, the stuff which you've just accepted as unchangeable. But you can change them. You can shop around for insurance. You can sell your home, rent a cheaper place, get a roommate. Those are the big things that are really going to have a big impact. Obviously, I'm not suggesting to go sell everything and live as a complete minimalist, but give yourself a goal. Start looking at your must-haves and see what could be reduced. Start easy with insurance and phone bills. You don't need a PhD to shop online for cheaper alternatives. Then, once you've got a hold of these, slowly start adjusting the bigger expenses. Maybe you consider selling your car and buying a cheaper, greener vehicle, which does more to the gallon. In their book, they go into a lot more detail here, so before making any drastic decisions based on a YouTube video, I'd recommend taking a look at what they have to say. They also explain how to maximize your savings through long-term investing. And I'll link my investing playlist beneath this video if you're ready to start investing, and you can also grab 2 free stocks by clicking the link in the description below. And that is the 50-20-30 rule. Once you're able to divide your income into these 3 categories, must-haves, savings, and wants, you'll start to take control of your income instead of being controlled by your expenses. Also remember that there's a defined limit to how much you can save. So I think it's just as important to focus simultaneously on how to increase your income. If you're looking to start your own business or side hustle to increase your income, at Plug and Law, we'll help you get your LLC launched. You'll just answer a few simple questions about your business, then we will handle the legal paperwork. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the thumbs up if this video was helpful. I really appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day and hope to see you in the next video.